Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the February 27, 2018 meeting of this trust. Can I recognize a motion to that effect? It's been moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next, we have the consent docket. I'd recognize a motion to approve the consent docket subject to individual consideration.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions? We'll vote. Approved. Next item is the concurrence docket, subject to individual consideration. I'd recognize a motion to approve.
Move for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. We have items for individual consideration, none. General Manager report. You have the floor, Senor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have a presentation about the interconnect project that's ongoing. The project is due to be substantially completed within the next couple of years, where we'll physically interconnect the two plants, and then we'll move to the east and the west northern legs after that. So Nathan Maddenwall is here today to give you an update on that project.
Well, thank you, and good afternoon, Chairman and trustees. Just here to give you a brief update, as Chris mentioned, over our interconnect project of the Hefner and Draper water systems. Before we get into the specifics of the projects we're working on, just want to do a quick history of how we got to this point, then talk about the Western Interconnect, which Chris mentioned, and what we're going to do in the future as we get out in later years. So how did we get to this point? The 2003 Water Master Plan recommended that we do a raw water pipeline to interconnect Hefner and Draper Lakes. That actually was a recommendation from previous studies as well. So we did a project to evaluate how do we connect that, where's the alignment to do that. As part of that project, we evaluated primarily, is it better to do a raw water system or to do a treated water system? And based on the analysis that they completed, we're moving forward with the treated water system, which is what you guys are seeing for those projects. The reason being, it's a lower cost option because it builds on existing infrastructure, and it provides for greater resiliency, because if we lose a plant, we're able to feed part of our system from one to the other, whereas if it was a raw water system, we wouldn't have that capability. So what does that look like on paper? Here's a map of showing all the improvements that we were to do as part of the interconnect. You see, it's a busy map, but we'll just start with where the three plants are: Draper on the southeast, Overholser in the middle, and Hefner in the north. The black lines are the recent transmission lines that we completed as part of the master plan. So this project builds upon those lines. You can see the line running west and the line coming out of Hefner to the north. So those are better serving western Oklahoma City. So we're building the western interconnect pipelines tying to those lines so we can move water between the two systems. 36-inch line going primarily down Council Road, and a 42-inch line running east-west from Council and Reno over to Overholser Water Treatment Plant. In addition to that, in the later years, when we get out past the Atoka pipeline, we'll be focusing on the Eastern Interconnect, which is about 9 miles of pipeline that we'll do, 30-inch to 48-inch, and then it'll include a booster station on the northeast side of town. So specifically on the Western Interconnect, what we're doing now, you have the Hefner Water Treatment Plant to the north, and then on the bottom right of your screen, the Overholser Water Treatment Plant and the new dual-use pump station that we're building. We have 8 projects underway. This project in the red shown on the north side there, that was a project from our Water Master Plan that was in construction. We've recently bid this project, WC 829, which is a 36-inch line going down Council Road. We've got 2 more projects that are out to bid. 850s went to you guys last docket, and 851 was on this docket. So we'll be bidding those shortly. We've got 4 more segments that are in final design. We hope to be bringing you those in the next few months. And those are primarily the lines that get over to Overholser, shown there in white. And then WC 930 is the last leg that we're in contract negotiations with the engineer. We decided to do a realignment for that project to utilize our existing Booster Station 9 so we can better utilize that infrastructure before we build a new booster station for the interconnect.
And what's the estimated completion date for those?
So we're looking at getting all the yellow's been bid, then we're going to get the green bid and the white. We want to get those done by summer of next year, and
Okay.
actually probably the orange line right around that time.
Okay.
I think it'll be about a year for construction.
Okay, thank you.
It's going to be about $40 million estimated cost for that. 829, then the number is a little bit higher than the original estimate, but it's pretty close, so we'll see. It had a little bit more street cuts than some of the other jobs, so we'll see as those bids come in. So the benefit of getting this done so quickly is it allows us to take Overholser online sooner rather than later. We built a new pump station there at Overholser that serves the water treatment plant, but it will also be part of the interconnect, so we'll be able to transfer water to Overholser, and it can then distribute it out to the system. So for the future work, we're the Eastern Interconnect. We have two main projects that we're doing there, the 48-inch mains that we talked about. Those are in design by the consultants. We've deferred the construction on those out to later years, like I said, until we get past the Atoka pipeline. And then Booster Station 27 and the associated pipeline, we're in negotiations with the engineer. We're trying to do some of the preliminary work on that so we can finalize where the site's going to be, where the alignment's going to be, so we can purchase land, but then we'll construct that out in later years. So those are the kind of the crux of the interconnect that we're working on, what we see moving forward. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, one more thing. About a year ago, if you compare the lake levels, February of 17 versus February this year, you'll notice a significant difference in the levels. Last year, we were 6, 7, 8 feet down. This year, we're, with the exception of Draper, just about full. Draper's about 3.5 feet down. So Mother Nature's been kind to us this year. Not sure where we're headed. We do have an area of the state that's in extreme drought. We haven't had an extreme drought classification in Oklahoma for a number of years. About half of the western side of the state is in some sort of a drought. The eastern side, not so much. Fortunately, we do bring a lot of our water in from the east side, so we're in pretty good shape. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm glad that Mr. Browning gave that report. Mr. Couch would have been disappointed if you hadn't, I'm sure.
He generally asks.
And if you hadn't, I would have asked for him.
I'm glad I was prepared.
Are there any other items from the trustees? Seeing none, we adjourn.